All right, everybody, you know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. Bam! Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we thank God for all those of you who decided to join us here on another live broadcast of the Real Talk Sports Show. We also want to give a big shout out to those of you who are watching us on the replay. Thank you so much for watching us. We appreciate you guys so much because that means you took time out of your busy schedule and said, hey, even though I missed you guys live, I wanted to get you guys on the replay. And again, we appreciate you so much for doing that. Remember, folks, please follow us on social media. And we are everywhere at simply Real Talk Sports, the number 7. Real Talk Sports 7. That's where you can find us broadcasting on multiple platforms around social media. And also, we are on Roku TV via the Phoenix Entertainment channel. That's right. Go to Tiki Live and put in Phoenix Entertainment Group in the search engine, and bam, you'll find us broadcasting to you right here and right now. So you can watch us on the big screen. And like I say, it's really, really cool. You can do that. And we appreciate you for doing that. So we want to give a big shout out to all those of you who follow us on YouTube, all those of you who subscribe on YouTube. I want to tell you that I am very excited to announce we have reached 850 subscribers. Thank you, and thank you for that. We are appreciative of you for that. We have reached 850 on YouTube. Thank you. Like I said, that puts us even closer to our magic goal of 1,000 subscribers, because 1,000 subscribers mean we can eventually start making some money, hopefully, on the show, and we can do some cool things. We're going to come out there and, do some live shows out in the street. We appreciate guys like Sully, who has a hamburger joint up in Johns Creek. Appreciate him, and we're going to look to join him. We're also looking to do some stuff around the South Side, because that's where we're located at. But there it is right there. We've reached 850 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much for all of that. And like I said again, guys, it is just great to be back out here this evening. It has been, as I mentioned, a week full of basketball. So if you have basketball Jones, it certainly got handled, I would think, this past weekend, because you had some epic games. You had breakdowns after games. You had ballers balling out and doing some major things on the court. It's everything you wanted in the way of basketball was there, both pro and the NBA. So we look forward to talking to you guys about it. Like to hear what you guys have to say, because, anytime there is big games and big sports weekends, there's always some backstory and controversy. So there's been a lot of buzz about what was going on with Angel Reese, aka the Bayou Barbie. Yeah, evidently a lot going on behind the scenes. So we want to get your guys' opinion on that, and her comments about how she has been treated during this run that LSU has had the last couple of years, getting to the Elite Eight, and then, of course, last year winning the national title in women's basketball. All right, guys, when we do this show, we always bring on one of the most beautiful women in sports talk radio or TV. We simply call her the Queen. Trae Young is back in the building. What's going on, Trae?
Hey, Jonathan. Hi, everybody.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, now hang on a second. What kind of shirt you wearing? What you got there? What's that shirt?
Uh,
What's that say?
it's a Middle Tennessee volleyball shirt.
Uh oh. Uh oh. Showing off the alma mater. Got to do it.
In the alma mater.
Love. Well, yeah, we appreciate you being back. Oh, I knocked you off the air. There we go. We got you back. Yeah, appreciate you being back. And you gotta be feeling pretty perky there, young lady. The women have been the talk of the town. The
And apparently watching of the town because the numbers have come in and my goodness, there's so many views that have happened during the games and I'm just so excited.
Yeah, epic numbers put up. People tuning in to women's basketball in, like I said, record numbers. All of their metrics are all up, and of course, most people know that has come from really. You want to try to say it's this big rivalry of Caitlin Clark, obviously being one of the most dominant female basketball players in the last decade, maybe in our generation here, and of course, her legendary showdowns against the folks over at LSU with Angel Reese. But we can't forget that we have a team that is still not lost a single game this season.
I won.
The Gamecocks of South Carolina, the so-called other USC, and all the stuff that Dawn Staley is doing there with that program, taking a program that really had not been known for women's basketball and have made them one of the dominant basketball teams in the decade. So we got that storyline. And of course, we got the fabulous freshman out of USC, Juju Watkins, blazing a trail. So yeah, the women are just, they're putting up some nice numbers. Everybody, it is really
Uh,
must see TV.
yes, it is just, I love it. I'm excited about seeing it. I think it's wonderful. It's great for the game of basketball. It really is.
And of course, let's not forget, you always like to brag quite a bit about your amazing blue and the fact that you're from Michigan. But I want to report that once again, the most dominant women's basketball team in the last 15 years, the UConn Huskies, are back in the Final Four. Gino Amarema coming back from some health issues, and UConn is back right in the middle of it. So shout out.
What does that have to do with my maize and blue?
Well, no, I'm saying you always shout Michigan. You always make sure to give them a lot of love. Come on now.
I do. So you're shouting out your Yukonies.
I'm from Connecticut. That's why I was born and raised in Connecticut, about an hour and 15 minutes south of the campus of Stores.
How cool is that? Well,
Right.
congratulations. Well, I will say that regardless of what's going on, you cannot not mention UConn and the beautiful historic records and the undefeated seasons because it wasn't just one season; it was multiple seasons where they had.
Multiple.
Yeah, that's tough to do. It's tough to go one season undefeated.
Just saying.
Yeah, they have broken so many records. You guys have put so many awesome players in the WNBA that still hold records to this day. Actually, the game last night, Tarasi's record just got broken. But there's so many great players that come from UConn, and you have to definitely give you guys kudos. I actually think you guys were the only school that had a team for the men and the women in the Elite Eight.
That is true, but you
No,
know what? We got
North
to give a shout out. There was one other team. How
North,
about the
North Carolina,
Wolfpack of North Carolina State?
yeah,
They've
North
done the same.
had it too. Yeah, that's what it
Yep.
was.
They have done the same. So yeah, that's those are two storylines within themselves. You have two schools that are doing something that's rare. That both the men and the women's teams are in the Final Four. North Carolina State Wolfpack doing their thing on the women's side, and of course the men's is probably. Yeah, I said originally last week there's no Cinderellas, but that's wrong because NC State is 11th seed. And they actually had to win their tournament just to get to the NCAA tournament.
It's true. They would not have gotten chosen if they did not. And they are
First team
shocking the world.
shocking the world, and they have the big man in the paint. The guy weighs about 900 pounds. I'm just teasing, but he's a big boy. Yeah, he's a load down in the paint, and
My dad
he is.
is a big boy.
Yeah, he's a massive man. I mean, he's nothing to play with. And the thing about it is that he is a very athletic young man. I mean, people think he's just a big bruiser, but he's a very, very athletic, handles the ball extremely well. And obviously, once he gets inside that paint area, he's almost impossible to stop. So, big shout out to North Carolina State, all they're doing there at both the men and the women. But like I said, North Carolina State on the men's side to be an 11 seed and to get to the Final Four is absolutely incredible. And like I said, with 14 losses on top of that, yeah, just a big shout out to them and all they're doing there out of, you know,
So they're women
NC State.
Final Four too.
Second, please.
They're the North Carolina State women make it to the Final Four too.
Yep, funny you should mention it. On Friday night, they will be the opening game of the Final Four, playing against the #1 seed South Carolina Gamecocks.
Oh, they're playing in South Carolina. Okay, yeah.
Yep. And meanwhile, UConn takes on the red hot Hawkeyes from Iowa, led by probably the best player in the nation. Not probably, is the best player in the nation with Caitlin Clark. And a lot of buzz going on. A lot of it kind of harkens me back. I can't believe it's been this much time already, but it harkens me back 45 years ago when we had something similar going on. A Larry Bird taking Indiana State undefeated. He was virtually unstoppable against Michigan State, Magic Johnson, and that legendary squad there. And the buildup between those two guys, it was really like they call it the game of the century.
Mhm.
And you have that same kind of buzz when LSU played Iowa. But unfortunately, things have kind of gotten a little, which it did back then, but we have a lot more social media now. So after the game, which you would do, you expect after a loss, a very despondent Angel Reese and her teammates. But then it kind of took a turn to the left as she talked about the fact that she had gotten death threats. She even used the term that she had been kind of sexualized in her promotion. So um, I was I wouldn't say taken aback, but I think that sometimes people forget that these are college students, and these are young people in 19, 20, 21 years old, 22 years old, and
That they're humans.
yeah, and I think that sometimes we get a little too caught up in this whole good against evil, white against black. I mean, is it me, or does it just seem like they're going over the top with some of this stuff?
A lot of people do. That's why I don't like people knowing who I am or that I exist. that's that's why I like staying out of the limelight, because when you put yourself in the limelight, unfortunately, that's part of what comes with it. But what really touched me the most was the fact that she said that since she won the national championship, she hasn't been happy. That's what I took away the most, outside of the death threats and everything else that she was saying. But just the fact that she hasn't been happy. You would think that that would be the happiest time of her life. But we all know that most people think, oh, well, she's getting all these contracts, she's getting all these deals, she's living the life. They think that that comes with happiness, but it really a lot of times doesn't. And so that's the part that really just broke my heart, is that she says she has not been happy since she won a national championship. That's very sad. And the death threats are just crazy.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it kind of comes with the territory that when you become famous, that's it. And unfortunately for women have to deal with this a lot more than men do. But there's an old saying in the advertising industry: sex sells. And because Angel's a nice looking woman, I mean, you can go on here and she had, of course, the SI swimsuit, and then she had other modeling things. Where, yeah, I mean, the bottom line is when you're a good looking woman, and it just is what it is. And I think that, I don't know if maybe she's thinking, hey, I might have kind of overdone some of these things. Maybe some of the contracts I regret taking. I'm not sure. But yeah, it just shows you once again that success comes with a cost.
There's
People
nothing
always think
wrong
this thing is free.
There's nothing wrong with taking pictures in a bikini. Just because
Oh
you
no,
take
nothing wrong with that. No, nothing wrong with that. No, I'm
no,
just saying, I'm just basically echoing what she said, that she felt that she was somewhat sexualized in the way she was portrayed. So I'm not sure if there were some other photo shoots that she
right.
wasn't happy with. I'm not, I mean, I've seen some
Yeah,
stuff, but
that's not what I was saying you were saying.
oh,
But I was just saying that I'm sure with her contracts and different things, because she has her team that's working on different things, but it doesn't have to be people that she's working with that can sexualize you. That's what
yep,
So it could be other things, or people saying things, or making, I'm saying, it's the social media comments, the things, like there's so many other things. So I would hope that it wasn't from one of her contracts, because again, there's nothing wrong with being on the cover or being in Sports Illustrated and modeling bikinis, or being in swimsuit calendars or anything like that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's
I would
actually,
think not.
yeah, but
Yes, I'm not sure where all this drama came from, but once again, it does show the hazards of being famous. And I think that almost every athlete to a person would say, "Hey, it's not that I'm shrinking back from the championships or winning or paying the cost of winning, but most people, I think, like you said, don't want to be famous. Because fame brings a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. So it's unfortunate that she's not been able to enjoy um, winning, because that's the whole idea. That's what you play for. That's what you sacrifice for. That's what you put in those hours and hours and hours of practice, is to be able to win championships and to be able to celebrate with your teammates. I mean, so the fact that you can't enjoy them, yeah, that's sad. Yep,
yeah, I
very
don't
sad.
think that she couldn't enjoy the championship. I think she enjoyed the winning part. I think it's honestly, if it wasn't for the NIL, I don't think she would have a problem.
Right.
With the NIL and all of these deals and all the millions and all the, I think it's those things that came from winning the championship. I mean, outside of it, because she had already had deals and stuff before she won the championship, but they just really just increased. So I think it was just more of that. And then I also think with the little hand gesture that she had made to Caitlyn, I just think it was a few things, but it's very unfortunate, and I just hate it, because people need to realize that people are human. We're all
Yep.
human. No one should
And
have
people
to
forget
do
that.
that.
They look at some of the trash talking, some of the banter that goes back and forth between the play and the players. What's interesting, the players say, "Hey, man, we don't. I mean, we're not getting caught up with this. This is part of the game. We don't take it that way. It's just part of the competition." But the fans of the players, evidently, they're like, "Hey, man, it gets kind of serious." And people, walk around. I want that smoke. I'm like, dude, it's a game. It's not. We're not trying to
Not
do all that. We mean
everything.
that, huh?
You, with football, it's a lot of trash talk. So I don't understand.
Exactly.
Even in men's basketball, it's a lot of trash talk. That's why I don't understand how some people just think that just because you're female, you shouldn't trash talk. Which, don't get me wrong, I don't like trash talking. I don't do it. I don't like it at all. But just because I don't do it and just because I don't like it doesn't mean that it's not okay for other people to do it. It's just not a part of my game. But it's it's a part of the game, like you were saying. Trash
Yeah, I
talk
mean, it
is
just
what
I,
happens.
I think we as fans, a lot of people that go to these games, I think they have to kind of remember it is a game. For the most part, you might have maybe one or two outliers of players that do some stuff that's kind of dirty, but you just can't do it. I mean, like, and for example, we saw that with South Carolina. I mean, not that anything dirty, but just that it got chippy. And next thing you have a relative run out in the court. You can't have that. I mean, dude, if you can't control yourself, you need to kind of.
Wait, a relative run out on the court?
Yeah, it was somebody. I think it was the one of the young ladies from South Carolina. I think it was her brother or cousin ran out. You'll see it if you go back and watch the video. See this guy come charging out of the stands. Like, hey man, you can't. I get it. I know it's family, but you can't do that. Yeah, that's a no. Yeah. So we just tell people we're taking this all too seriously, folks. All right, this is still a game, but unfortunately, because like you said, the amount of money that's involved and the amount of publicity and all this stuff going on, it's got people out of their minds. So,
Yeah, and the betting. Let's not forget the betting, because you hear where
ooh,
so many players are that they're being threatened or different things because their play is losing people money because they bet on them. And I'm happy. I can't remember what school it is that banned the betting, but it's gone way too far.
yeah, and a lot of that stuff is just pure greed from grown folk. A lot of your, especially in professional sports, a lot of your owners, these are the guys that in my lifetime, when I was a wee lad, they're immediately, no, you can't. We want you going to Vegas. We don't want you doing anything. We don't want you hanging out with so-called gambling and underworld figures. Now in Vegas, I mean, they got kiosks. They're signing contracts. I mean, I don't. I mean, anyway, that's a whole nother issue. The hypocrisy of professional leagues, and I'm not trying to say you
But
should
it's not
allow players,
hypocrisy.
huh?
It's not hypocrisy. How is it hypocrisy?
Well, because if you on one hand saying that you don't want the players betting,
Hmm.
okay, then why are you welcoming signing all these deals with betting businesses? I don't get it. I mean, you can't. I mean, to me, you can't have it both ways. If you don't want the players betting, then they definitely shouldn't have any kiosks inside the stadium, and you shouldn't be promoting and signing hands with these guys that are they're doing bets, because the bottom line is, especially with electronic betting, it, it's just a lot of people are doing that. So I'm saying, hey man, don't. It's just, to me, if you're going to say we don't want you betting, then you should not be taking money from betting agencies. Me personally, that's just me.
So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but when I heard what actually happened, it changed my whole perspective. The NFL still does not condone betting, and the NFL still does not want betting. The Supreme Court made the decision that betting is legal. So you can't in the NFL say, oh, betting is legal, but you can't bet on the NFL. If it's laws that's changed and it's affecting the sport, that's not your decision. You're not the one that brought the betting in. The Supreme Court did. So you just have to conform with it.
Yeah,
So
I still
that's
think
not
that
a
is. Yeah, I don't care about conforming. I'm saying I don't think that you should partner and promote it. That's me personally. If you're saying we don't want our players doing it, we don't want our coaches doing it, then I don't think that you should be in league with them promoting it and using them as a sponsor. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I know the laws are the laws, but it's like, okay, man, we don't this money, we don't want this money, because they go against the core values of what we support as a league. It's legal, we don't care, great, but we first of all we don't want our players doing it, and nor are we going to promote and sponsor it because we as a league don't agree with it. That's my thing. Yeah, I just like it.
I agree, but these owners, they want money, and if it's legal, and if other people are going to bet on their sport, they should be the ones making the money from it. I mean, I'm a business owner, so if you mean to tell me that something that a product that I had and people could bet on it, and I don't bet 25 cents, I don't bet anything, I don't bet, right? But you're not going to have somebody else making money off of my business, my company, and it could be me. I mean, I would do a deal too. If it's something that's going to happen, you should benefit from it. If it's your business, that's just, well, I mean, I guess I got to think on that some more, but I'm pretty sure that I would go with it. I don't know. I may or may not, because, I really don't like betting.
See, that's what that's what I mean, because we discussed other things, and you said, look, Jonathan, this is the bottom line. And for all you are watching the same thing, I don't agree with this. I ain't doing it. That's it. Y'all can do what you want, but Tree Dolman ain't doing it. Now, goodbye. And so, but again, that same kind of energy, because the NFL is very strict on this, and rightfully so. We don't want to have a situation where people are watching a game thinking, hey, this guy might have done something a little squirrely because he's got some investment in the game. I get that. I don't want to see that either. So anyway, I tell you what you guys do need to see, though. You need to see more about what we got in terms of advertising. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show after the break in just a moment. Please don't go anywhere. Thank you, and thank you.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions, or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
But everybody, we are back with the Real Talk Sports Show, and we're going to bring back the Queen as she has changed monitors here. We got her back in. But there she is. Dun, 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 dun,
Yes,
dun.
much better.
Praise the Lord. That's right. Much better. Well, continuing the theme of basketball, first of all, let's give you guys, for those of you who have been in the closet, I'm going to give you the roundup here for next Friday night. The Final Four for the women consists of number 3, North Carolina State Wolfpack. They will have to try to take down the very best team in the country, number 1 ranked and undefeated South Carolina Gamecocks. And in the nightcap, the Golden Girl from the Iowa Hawkeyes, Caitlin Clark, ranked number 1 in their region, takes on an old legend, the UConn Huskies, in the nightcap to see who will battle to win the NCAA Women's Championship. And meanwhile, wait, there's more. For the men, NC State finds himself again repping the Wolfpacks as they take on the number 1 ranked Purdue Boilermakers from out of their zone. The Boilermakers have been making some noise. Their big center has been thumping and bumping, talking about y'all have undervalued me, didn't know what time it was, and I'm about to bring it. That's young Mr. Edney. I'll get back and make sure I got his name pronounced correctly. And then in the nightcap, is there something? UConn gets the nightcap in both games. The UConn Huskies, the steamroller, averaging double-digit wins in every single tournament victory, takes on the upstarts from the SEC, normally known as a football school. The Alabama Crimson Tide makes their foray into the Final Four for the men. So there you have it, guys. UConn and North Carolina State, both the men and the women in the Final Four. Kudos to them. And a couple of newbies like the Alabama Crimson Tide showing we just don't play football down here, brother. We play a little basketball as well. We do a little
Speaking of the
something.
Crimson Tide, I'm
Yes, ma'am.
actually shocked that they beat the Clemson Tigers. I was
Yes.
rooting for number 1, Chase Hunter, and number 2, Dylan Hunter. Those are my friend Brandy's sons. And
Okay.
I was just hoping that they would continue on. But Alabama was the better team that day. And I'm proud of Alabama. Like you said, they've always been known as a football school, but now they're making their name known across March Madness and men's basketball.
No doubt. And the dynamic duo for the Crimson Tide, Nick Pringle, 16 points, the triple guys, 16 points, 11 rebounds for Pringle, the double-double. Mark Sears, their dazzling guard, 23 points, 2 assists and 3 rebounds. And Jaron Stevenson, 19 points and 3 rebounds for the Crimson Tide, who just basically, they just said, look, man, we don't know nothing about no defense, but we can score offense. 89 points against Clemson, including 54 in the second half, and Clemson they couldn't keep up. They just couldn't do it. I mean, the
it just
Crimson
went
Tide was
downhill.
too
They
much
weren't making
firepower.
shots that they usually make. And
Right.
yeah.
They can't do that.
And
Yeah,
when they have people in foul trouble, it's always bad when you get your starters or your star players or your hot players in foul trouble. That's never a good situation.
you always got trouble with that. And so they tried to hang in there, but like I say again, too much firepower from the Crimson Tide of Alabama. But they are going to be running into a buzzsaw because UConn has been absolutely dominant in this tournament. Like you said, almost every victory in double digits. And then to cap it off, to get to the Final Four, a record-setting 30-0 run against Illinois. That's right, guys. You heard me right. UConn outscored Illinois over about a 12-minute span, 30-0, as they demolished the Illini and head into the Final Four again to see if they can. It's going to be tough for the women, but they're going to try to see if they can do what they've done. I think it was about a decade ago where both the women and the men won the NCAA tournament. So we will see. But yeah, UConn
Yeah,
looks
you
like
never
they're going
know.
to be. Yep, UConn's going to be a tough out, no doubt about it. Well, keeping it in the world of basketball, boys and girls, we have been watching a resurgence down in Atlanta. The Atlanta Hawks missing almost the whole daggone team. No Trae, no Jalen Johnson, no Onyeka Okongwu. Everybody on the bench, even their G League first round pick, Kobe Buffkin, on the bench. But from out of nowhere, from out of the G League, from out of 10-day contracts, the Hawks have put together a team that has been must-see TV. 5 of their last 6 wins, including not 1 but 2 wins over the team with the best record in the NBA, the Boston Celtics. Tree, what has happened to these Hawks?
Listen, players want everybody to know that they exist, and when you get those opportunities in the NBA, you have to take advantage of them.
Right.
It's time to shine, and we know that sometimes when players get injured, then you get your opportunity to show people what you've been working on, and that's the whole point of not having to get ready but to stay ready. And these players are just showing people, hey, I'm here and I want a contract, and they want to play with the Hawks or somewhere in the NBA, and they're showing it. And kudos to them, because for them to, first of all, Jonathan, we know how hard it is to beat the Celtics, right? Because
Yes.
we've been to the games and watching the Celtics. I mean, that's a team where it's just like they just show why they were just top in the league. And every time they play the Hawks is no different. So for the fact that they beat the Celtics, that speaks volumes.
No doubt. And did it not once but twice in the span of 3 days.
Yeah.
And both games were epic. The first game, the unthinkable, 68-38, I believe the score was, in the second quarter of the game, and looking like the Hawks were going to get run out of Dodge, 63-33. And suddenly the Hawks go on a tear and cut the lead to 18. I was telling people, I said, you know what? Any team will tell you if they can get a lead under 20, got a whole half, anything can happen. And then the Hawks did the unthinkable again, came out of third quarter and launched, I think it was 11-2 run. And next thing you know, when I did my recap, the score was Celtics 78, Hawks 75, and the Hawks closed them out 120-18, coming back from a 30-point deficit. Absolutely
Yeah.
incredible. Absolutely incredible. And the energy in that building was insane. I mean,
Can't
you
believe
know,
it.
don't get me wrong. Yeah, there was a lot of green in that building.
There's
A lot
always
of
a
green.
lot of green when the Celtics come to town.
But to the credit of the Hawks, 6-man, they said, not tonight, Charlie Chan. The Hawks fans shouted down, they swagged down, and when it came down to it, DeJounte Murray was clutch. But then the killer was DeAndre Hunter saying to us all in the press conference, hey, Hawks had a 1-point lead with less than 10 seconds to go. Hawks with the ball. And he said to himself, if the shot is missed and the rebound comes out to me, I'm shooting. Now you're thinking in normal cases, hey man, just hold the ball, try to get a foul. DeAndre said that never crossed his mind. He said as soon as he saw the ball go up, he said, if Clint gets the ball and throws it back out, I'm shooting. And he let their ball go, and it was nothing but the bottom of the net, and the place exploded when they said, timeout, Celtics.
I can imagine.
Yeah, definitely must-see TV. And then the comeback, 2 days later, having to play a Portland Trailblazers team, which regardless is not that good, but to play a solid 48-minute game where really, yeah, Portland made a couple of runs, but the game was never in doubt, which is what you're supposed to do with an inferior team. But wait, there's more. The next night, taking on the Celtics into overtime, where DeJounte Murray hits the game winner with 0.2 of a second left. I thought DeJounte was going to wrestle down everybody in that front row. I've never seen DeJounte Murray so energized. He's high-fiving the people in the front row. His teammates are hugging him. And he just, just unbelievable play by the Hawks so far. Yeah, just shocked. But, it's funny. You said something about, guys looking to show that, hey, we belong in the NBA. And I think that a lot of times when, even as people covering, you look at these guys that, you see them game in, game out. All they're doing is cheering on the bench. And you're thinking, man, them guys are getting paid $1 million to do nothing, just be practice players. Ladies and gentlemen, it's like this. If you're on an NBA team, you are still one of the best 200 basketball players in the world. Because nobody's going to pay you. What's the minimum for the NBA? Was it 1.1 million or something like that? Nobody's going to pay you that.
Oh, are they in the millions?
I think it's let me get the minimum. I think it's $1.1 million is the minimum if you actually are on the team. I'm talking about the shuttling back and forth between the G League. Let's go here. Let's go minimum NBA salary.
I thought it was in the 100,000s, but Let's
Here's what it
see.
says: the minimum salary for players, and the operative word, signing contracts for the 23-24 season amount to $1.1 million. It's the
Oh,
first.
okay. I'm
Yep.
gonna try to go be the first female in the NBA. I'm just playing. Kidding, kidding. I don't want to
Hey,
be in the NBA, but
look.
that's nice though.
Yep. So I don't care if you're number 13 guy on the bench, don't get a lick of time. If you actually signed a contract, like I said, not the one of them 10-day things, you're going to get a minimum of $1.1 million.
Yeah,
So nobody's paying you that if you know something really jump off that you can't come in and be at least serviceable. And to the Hawks' credit, all these guys have done it. Whether they've come from the European League, whether they've come from a G League, these guys have balled out. And two of the biggest surprises has been Vít Krejcik and Garrison. What's the last name? Come on, John, you can do it. Garrison Matthews. I mean, these guys have been 3-point terrors, terrors. And this is the biggest key, defensively, they have been really, really, really great defensively. You know, both of these guys have come off the bench and done great. Matter of fact, another hometown shout out. Wes Matthews is also from Connecticut. And I had the great privilege back when I was in high school to see his dad play. That means
oh
I'm old.
cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, his dad was a great star in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Um, he had some great epic games that we got a chance to see, and they were a great team. And that whole little, we have a little pocket in Connecticut between like Bridgeport, New Haven, and Hartford, where we've actually sent, you know, not a lot, but a few guys to the NBA. So yeah, big shout out to Wes Matthews. And he said all these guys have said, hey, the reason why the Hawks brought us in is basically be role players and play defense. And
Mhm.
now that they've been able to get on the court, that's what you've seen. And like I
Yeah.
said, and the other thing too is, what is Coach Quinn Snyder like? Tree, please. That's the other thing. Believe it or not, Tree, in the win last night, Vít Krejcik had not one, not two, not four, but in the first half he hit 5 3-pointers. And that's why the Hawks were able to come along that win. He was 6 of 7 for 3-point. And the Hawks as a team shot a stunning 49% from three.
Oh wow. Now that's a statistic for you.
49% from 3-point. I think it was like 48.7. Yeah, and that's really been the key because, you know, oftentimes, like it was, the Hawks are playing against teams that are physically bigger. They were out rebounding that game, but I mean, it made no difference. Their shooting was just so phenomenal
Yeah.
last night, and against a team who is trying to beat them back from getting in that nice spot. Didn't make a difference.
Yeah.
Did not make a difference. Let's go over the team stats for the Hawks really quickly here as we wrap it up. Last night against the Bulls, the Hawks rolled in on the road. They held the Bulls to 39% free field goals overall and only 25% from three. The Bulls were only 7 of 28. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Hawks 50% from the floor overall. 47.5% was the actual number from three. They hit 19 of 43 pointers last night. Incredible. They got out
Mhm.
rebounded. They had more turnovers, but that's stellar. They shot worse from the free throw line, but that 3-point shooting that they had, like I said, Krejcik was 6 of 7. Matthews was 2 of 3. Yeah, the Hawks just, I mean, they just shot the lights out from three. And this team, especially now the way they're playing defense, when this team starts shooting like this, they're tough to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, really tough to beat. So now, the big question, Tree. Seeing this play, you know what people are saying now.
What?
They're saying, man, the Hawks play better without Trae. So the rumblings are going around that if the Hawks continue to play this way, that Mr. Young might be playing for another team. Do you think that people are maybe kind of overblowing it because we're only talking about maybe about 20 some odd games without him? Or do you think that it's legitimate that, hey, look, the team's winning, they look more cohesive, they seem to be moving the ball more? Hey,
No.
what do
No,
you
I
think?
mean, you can't go off of a long season off of a few games. Sometimes people come in hot and then once it starts wearing off the excitement and all that, then things change. So no, I definitely don't think that they should get rid of Trae unless it's something that they want to do. But I don't know about getting rid of Trae for the people that they have on the team. I don't see that. I mean, yes, they're playing better, they're winning, which is good, but there could be so many things and reasons why. I mean, obviously they're gelling as a team. Obviously they're hustling and playing hard. We all know this. We can see that by the wins and everything. But I don't think that in the NBA, when the season is so long, this isn't the NFL season where you only play a few weeks and then the season's over. No, a lot of people don't realize how long the NBA season is, and you have to really do so much with your body. I don't know where most teams are really healthy all the time in the NBA. It's just a part of the game because again, the season is so long. So I wouldn't just jump to conclusions. Yes, it's a good observation, but you have to realize that this is Trae's team, regardless of the people who agree with it, regardless of the people who like it or who don't like it. This is Trae Young's team. Will that continue to be the case after this season or in the future? I don't know, because clearly with the Hawks, change is needed. We see that, right? And that's part of the reason that they got rid of John Collins last year. But like I said then, he wasn't the issue. He wasn't the problem. But they're trying to find that missing piece and trying to put together a team that can go to the playoffs and hopefully win an NBA championship. I'm pretty sure that that's the goal, but we'll see. But I think that a lot of people are just jumping to conclusions right now. We'll see what happens in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, the rumblings have been, obviously, they mentioned this on several occasions, and I think it harkens back to when when Trey was first drafted. The comments of LeBron said that he really wanted to have Trey be a part of his team then. And then, the whole thing going back and forth with Trey telling LeBron to come here when he was a free agent. So there is some connection there. And of course, every time a young player is available for trade, everybody's saying, well, to help LeBron get one more championship before he retires, the Lakers need one more star. The other rumbling that was interesting, this wasn't a rumbling, this was a reporter kind of pondering and put this thing together. The idea of Trey going to San Antonio, because San Antonio obviously has Victor Wembanyama. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing his name right, but okay, anyway, because I'd be killing those names.
You and me both.
Right, put them up. But anyway, people are thinking that he would be a good fit there because obviously Trey is the master of the pick and roll. Wembanyama is a guy that kind of is a different type of player. Guy 7'4", handles like a guy 6'4", and they're thinking it'd be a good fit there. And they also say that that's would be a good fit because San Antonio actually has trade capital. They could literally trade back the first round picks of the Hawks game to get DeJounte Murray and a couple of players to make that done. So they're saying that those two particular trade rumors have probably the most amount of credibility to them, but that wouldn't happen, and we wouldn't see anything like that happen until the summertime, probably June or
Right.
July. But there's
Right.
no question that they just, in watching the team, they just look more cohesive. I mean, they just look like the ball moves around. These guys look very excited. Now, of course, the Trae's credit, he's been what you expect, not only a true professional, but a great teammate because he's on the bench cheering like a madman. Matter of fact, unfortunately, the other night he got a technical because he got a little too excited on the bench. It teed him up. So I think that at least this is what I hope for Atlanta's sake and for Trae Young's sake. I think that Trae really would like to win a championship here. I think the Hawks would like to do
I
that
think
because
so.
they gave up a lot to get him.
Yeah, I think so.
My thought is, at least the hope is, that him watching how the team flows, where the ball moves and so forth, that he would be able to adjust his game somewhat to kind of fit into that,
No.
which is not, Tree says, nope.
Yeah, no. That's not how it works when you're an athlete. You don't sit on the bench while you're injured, and regardless of if your team is winning or losing without you, and then you see that they're playing a certain way and you say, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to adjust my game to fit." No, that's not how it works.
Well, then that could be the answer to our question because clearly, and again, it's a short. I think the most difficult thing is for us as Atlanta fans and people that cover is that the team has been so sporadic in these recent years, okay, where you get these 3-4 game winning streaks, then you get a 3-4 game losing streaks where they win games that they're not supposed to win, they lose games they're supposed to win. For this short sample size of about maybe 10 or 15 games, they've actually looked like the way the team's supposed to. They've beaten the brakes off of teams they should have, like they blew out the Hornets by 40, a team they should have been beaten over the years. They beat the brakes off them. They played extremely high level against the Boston Celtics, the best team in the league. And then when they had to come back and play against a Portland team, was a poor team, they kept the game under control the whole time. Pretty much was never in doubt. They closed, I think, under double digits a couple of times, but for the most part, the Hawks had them under their foot like you should have against a team that's not as good as you. Yeah. And then when they had to play against a team who they're battling for playoff seeding, they went on the road and won a very tough game, including, holding down DeMar DeRozan, who, was a one-man wrecking crew, 32 points. But so people look at that and it makes them think, well, they haven't looked like that with Trae in a long time. Yeah. So all these things pop up, but, it's going to be people way above my pay grade. They're going to make those determinations. Picking up my pay grade, ladies and gentlemen, we have a gentleman in the wings who's done it all. He is a two-time Super Bowl champion, not one but two-time. He is a member of the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame, and he is the first ever Carolina Panthers defensive draft selection. He wore number 38. We're talking about the one and only Tyrone Poole is back in the building. What's going on, Tyrone?
Hey, how we doing? Hello,
what
up? Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Tyrone.
Everybody doing well.
Oh, hold on a second. Let me get that hat. This is one of the teams he played for right here. There it is.
Yeah, the Coast. Yeah.
Hey, look, Tyrone, you got the whole Indy thing. You got the Indy in the background, the 500 track in the background, everything. Okay.
Oh, well, actually, no. This was an image that I used on my show. My show is called Life is a University. So I tried to create different backgrounds to kind of tell part of the story that I'm telling. And, we all know life offers us all principal classes, right? That we all got to take. I don't care how much money you got, how much money you don't have, where you stay, where you don't stay. Life offers all of us 3 classes. Classes in tests, classes in trials, and classes in temptations, right? And the only difference between me and Tree, our tests, trials, and temptations, or you and Tree, Jonathan, is our personal experiences with these tests. But everybody gonna get tested, everybody gonna get tried, and everybody gonna be tempted. Somebody being tempted right now, that chocolate cake, I'm telling you right now, put it down, put that chocolate cake down, you're being tempted. But yeah, so I did a show yesterday called The Cost of Success. Can you drink? The topic was, can you drink from the cup of success? Everybody wants success, but success costs. And the bigger the dream of success, the bigger that cup you got to drink from. And it's a cost when you drink from that cup. So, so that was the story yesterday. And that's the background that I had up.
Well, I like that background. That's a true statement because greatness does cost. And I can tell people from a guy who's, look out, fumbled the ball on a couple of occasions. Yeah, at that price is, you think you're all gung-ho about paying it when it first starts. But then once you have to cash a couple of checks, oh man, I don't know. Maybe I can just be good. I don't need to be great. I'm all right. I'm good. Very good. That's okay. I'm good. I don't have to be great. But it is a cost. Right. And but if you can do it, yeah, greatness does lie even at the door. All right, speaking at the door, guys, we're going to take our last break for the evening. But don't go nowhere. We'll talk a little NFL, free agencies, and lots of signings. And yes, I know you Falcons guys. You talking about the Falcons? Just a little bit before we go. All right, but don't go nowhere. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Stay tuned.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice. Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
Congratulations, Amici, on your new F-250 that you got from us. How's it?
Just want to say congratulations on getting your new F-350 from us here at Allen Vigil Ford. Thank you for your business.
Thank you.
God bless.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations. What do you think? Is it worth the wait, buddy?
I love it. I can't wait to get on the road with it.
Well, listen, man, thank you very much, and congratulations to you. We appreciate your business.
Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate your business.
Thank you, Ron. That's right, guys. If you are looking for a brand new vehicle for yourself or for your familia, please give me a call. I'll give you the hookup at Allen Vigil Ford and Lincoln. No matter what you need, if it's a used car, I can help you as well. So contact me. You can hit me up here. I'll put it up on the screen really quickly. You can call me directly, 678-410-9833, or you can hit me up via email, jsimmons@realtalksports.net, and just put in the comments you're looking for the carro, and we will take care of you. Even if your credit is a little shaky, we have a gentleman called Shed Harris. He ain't gonna take it to woodshed, but he will get you financing the car, even if your credit is a little shaky. So hit me up, 678-410-9833, or email me, jsimmons@realtalksports.net. All right, let's get back to the business of sports talk. We have right there, right underneath us, the glamorous and always beautiful Trae Young, and we have above us there the champion Tyrone Poole in the building. All right, guys, free agency still going on. I know some Falcons fans are feeling some kind of way as the New York Jets sign Hassan Reddick. And I guess I'm a little confused to why the Falcons can't seem to want to get any of these guys. It seems like he was traded for a very nominal amount. We've seen other players defensively get moved for a very small, apparently very small draft picks, 4th or 5th rounds. Tyrone, what do you think their thoughts are? Falcons thinking, hey, we want our own guys in here, or these guys don't fit? What do you think might be the mindset behind the Falcons' brains in Flowery Branch?
Well, I'll say this, Jonathan, to answer your question. They are the only ones that understand what's in that building. They have scouts, they have film, they see what the guys do, they know their mentality. And, you don't get rid of a guy unless he's not living up to the effort or whatever you are looking to receive out of him. And I'll quote the late Al Davis. Al Davis said, you can find coaches anywhere, but you can't find good players everywhere. So you don't let a guy go unless you know that there's a guy right behind him that can step in his spot. Now, we as fans, we're like, oh, that's my fan favorite. That's my fan. But again, there's some guys that probably you don't even know, haven't seen on film, that in practice, that guy go through the same drills, the same whatever that the guy they just let go. It's just like being at the combines again, right? They're going through the same lifting, the same movement. So as an organization, when it comes down to making that decision, you say, hey, you know what? Such and such is just as good as whatever. He has the same potential. He don't have as much game film, but, as far as ability and potential, there's more upside here. So let's go ahead and get rid of such and such, see if we can get some value for him while he's still productive. And let's always build to the future. It's just like anything, you banking. When you want to make sure you have enough in your savings account for down the road. So I think that's what the Falcons probably thinking. These guys, when we look at them, they all pretty much, you put them in a bag and shake it, you can pull anybody out. But if there's somebody who's really looking at this guy that we have, and we know we got a guy in the back that can replace him, then let's see how much value we can get out of this guy. So that's my thinking.
True, what do you think? The Falcons are saying, hey, we think there's enough potential in the draft. They're being cheap, or like Tyrone said, hey, we're looking for a certain type of player to fit our locker room.
Well, I was going to say that I think that of course, they're looking for what they're looking for, but you never know. Sometimes players want to go to other teams, or maybe they're not happy with something there or negotiations. You just never know what's really going on behind the scenes. And so if you have a player that doesn't really want to be in your organization, I wouldn't try to keep them there, because I wouldn't do it. I don't think you'll get the best performance out of a player that just really does not want to be there. And you just never know. But hopefully, I feel that the Falcons, all the moves that they're making, I think that they are looking towards being that championship team. I think that it really hurt them a lot with the different losses that they've had. And I think that they do want to bring another championship to Atlanta in their somewhat new stadium.
I want to add this too before you jump in, Jonathan.
Okay.
Now, the Falcons. Now, I want the fans to pay close attention, right? Whenever they say they make a trade, right, and say if it's for a 7th round draft pick right now, but possibly could turn into a future 4th round pick. You know, people get excited. Oh yeah. You know, we could get a 4th round pick for this guy. Now, me as a owner or a GM, I would want to get the highest value right off the bat, because teams could pull a Jimmy Johnson. I don't know if you guys remember when Jimmy Johnson traded Herschel Walker to Minnesota, Tree's team, Minnesota, and they had conditional picks, right? Yeah, we give you this right now, but if they play, then that 6th round pick goes to a 4th round pick. And Jimmy Johnson knew them dudes weren't going to play. So he just, so Minnesota got stuck, right? But at the end of the day, that's the one thing that you want to pay attention to: conditional draft picks, because I don't think no team wants to give up, high draft picks. So they would do anything to keep that player from triggering that advancement in that draft pick elevation. So that's just something that I've been cognizant of to look at whenever these trades happen. Is it a conditional pick, or is it a straight out, this is the pick, we're trading him for a 3rd round pick, bam? Or is it a 7th round pick with conditions? Well, you ain't gonna get that condition, Jack, because we're gonna make sure that guy don't see the time of day on that field to trigger that advancement. Yeah.
Tyrone, you basically saying, bottom line, you've been had. you ain't getting what you thinking you get, buddy boy.
Hey, like Ice Cube said, with no Vaseline.
Woo. That's about as rough it gets, boys and girls. That's real talk from Mr. Tyrone Poole. All right, so one of the things that the Falcons are thinking, I'm sure, for those of you who are watching, say, why don't they get any one of these edge rushers? If we look at what these guys are being paid, let's take a look at some of the guys that moved around this year. First of all, let's take a look at a guy that a lot of people think he would be a good fit here, a former Georgia Bulldog, Leonard Floyd, a guy who's been dominant off of that offensive line position. He, along with Myles Garrett and another guy I thought they should have brought here, Hassan Reddick, are the only players in the last 2 years that have had 9 or more sacks in each of the last 4 seasons. But his deal was 2 years, $20 million. He's 31 years old. So the Falcons are probably saying, well, we don't want to do that. So that could be the reason right there. Money. Hassan Reddick signed for a similar contract. He also is about 31 or 32 years old. The guy I think that we need to keep our eye on here, I'll pop the name up here on the screen. He's one of the 3 edge rushers that are rated to be in the top 5 and should go somewhere in the first 15 picks of the first round. Here's the name that we're popping up on the screen here. I can't pronounce it right, but Latu, defensive end / linebacker out of the University of California, Los Angeles, a.k.a. UCLA. He's got all the measurables of being a guy that could be a dominant player. First of all, his size, 6'5", just around 260 pounds. One of the things I've looked at when the Falcons have drafted these edge rushers, like when they brought in Vic Beasley, the guy was a physical specimen, but the guy was light. Guy is 6'5", 230 pounds, pounding against them big old offensive tackles all the time, and eventually he had some shoulder injuries. All right, let's go to social media real quick here before we wrap it up. It's lurking in the shadows.
Todd, Tree, love you, but Falcons ain't close to a championship. This team has a lot of holes, coaches unproven, and playing an old hurt QB. 100 million for 2 years makes no sense. Todd, I did not say that they were close to a championship. That's not what I said. I agree. They're not close to a championship. I was saying that I think that the owners, the GMs, that's what they're striving for. So I would assume that the moves that they're making, they would think would put them on the path to a championship. But no, I was not saying that I think that they are close to one or on that path currently. But love you too, Todd. Todd go call me out.
Well, you know, Todd, that's his flow. Well, guys, as usual, the time has rocketed by. We need to wrap it up here and say goodnight to everybody. It's going to be an interesting NFL draft. I think the
In
Falcons
Detroit.
in Detroit. That's right. Yeah. Now, should we all go to Detroit?
Hey, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Listen, I had an off month last month, one of my worst months in about 6 months, and Mr. Vigil saw me going by. He said, "Hey, no more Super Bowl trips for you, buddy." He said, "That's it." He said, "You come back here looking." Well, he was teasing, but yeah, I had a right.
It's a little truth to every joke.
Yep.
Todd said Mr. Blank needs to be running a bingo game in nursing home at this point. Wow. You're wrong for that, Todd.
Cool. All right, Tyron, I'm going to get one last opinion from you, sir. If you were drafting defensively for the Falcons, would you pick a defensive lineman / edge rusher, or would you go for a cornerback if they're rated about the same skill set wise?
Those are two prime positions. You got prime positions, defensive end, rush end, and you got a cornerback. So if I had to choose, looking at everything else, if I got a pretty okay front seven, I would go with the cornerback because a cornerback can actually give you an opportunity to shut down, an opportunity to take the other team's opposition, the opponent's receiver out of the game. And a defensive coordinator can do a whole lot of things with a good cornerback. Just look at Deion Sanders, right? We're going to put Deion on this guy and let him go to work. And then we're going to take the defense and we're going to rotate everybody else, Or what you can do, you can take a corner and put him on the second best receiver and then double their best receiver. So your number one corner should be able to take this second wide receiver out the game. But when it comes to a defensive end, you can always turn. If you don't have another defensive lineman that can rush, you can always turn your pass protection and keep that guy from getting to the quarterback. You can take your running back and chip him. But when you got a corner who can take out one of your wide receivers, and then you can rotate the defense to the other passing strength. So with me, give me the corner. Not because I played corner, but just because football is about chess, not checkers.
Todd said we need a pass rush, Tyrone. That makes the corners better.
No, again, it's like which comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? Now, again, if you get a pass rusher, right? If you don't have a good front seven, remember, I said if you have a pretty good front seven, that means you got your defensive line, you got linebackers, right? So no matter I've been in situations where the defensive line get there, but your cornerback got beat. And sometimes the quarterback just throw the ball up in the air and the receiver jump up and catch it, right? So just think if you got a corner who, when that quarterback looks over there, he sees that corner is in good position, and just that hesitation allows the blitz to get there to that quarterback. So again, it's all predicated on the front seven. And plus, no one defensive end or defensive lineman is going to win a game for you. Go ask Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, even though he's a beast, but when they brought what's my guy from the Broncos they brought and put him on the edge, and then he went to Buffalo. But
Von Miller. Yep. Von Miller.
Yeah, Von Miller. That opened it up for Aaron Donald. So who you gonna double? But if you don't have four horses, whether you run a 4-3, a defensive alignment, or a 3-4, if you run a 3-4, you got to have that nose guard. That's the key to a 3-4 defense. If you're going to run a 4-3, you got to have, those 4 guys, just like the New York Giants. That's how they beat the Patriots, Super Bowl, when the Patriots had that phenomenal offense. I'm like, they just sat back and let that front 4 go. And everybody sat back and played zone, right? And then when they did blitz, the blitz got there because you got to let somebody go. Straight hand or OC Humanera or, who you going to let? Yeah, so give me the cornerback. I'll start with the cornerback and build my defense around the cornerback.
Do I get to answer?
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean to take up all that time.
You already know I'm going with the defensive end. So, I mean, the line of scrimmage, I think, is just so important. Don't get me wrong. Corners are very important as well. But it all starts at the line of scrimmage. And big plays are made there as well as other parts of the field. But I'm going to go with the defensive end if it was my choice. What's your choice, Jonathan?
Well, I guess because I grew up down the road from seeing this man from day one, I like when you got some linebackers, because linebackers can change the game in any direction. They can be pass defenders, they can be run stoppers, and they can be devastating off the edge. So that's why I like the idea of getting one of these edge rushers, because even though they list them at defensive end, they really kind of like hybrids. Because today, like Tyrone said, you don't know whether you're going to play a 4-3 or a 3-4, and that edge rusher is kind of like a in between guys. So I like the linebackers. All right, Todd, you got one last shot, buddy.
This man, what man?
Oh, I'm sorry, Lawrence Taylor.
Oh, thank you. I'm like, which one?
Yeah, my bad.
Todd said, Tyrone, the 46 defensive Bears had no corners. They just leveled QBs.
Yeah. Now, I'm glad Todd brought that up.
Okay.
Now, Todd, understand, in order to run a 46, that's a pressure defense.
Right.
You got to have corners that can play man-to-man.
So he proved your point, huh?
There you go. So that's the only way the 46 will run, because you can only run basically so many coverages. Man is probably the top coverage you can run out of 46. That's why when the actual Dolphins played the 1985 Bears, they went down to Miami. What Miami did, they spread them out. And they they allowed more man-to-man coverage. They brought them safeties who normally teams were trying to bring everybody in and protect because of the pressure, which played into the Bears' hands because you're condensing your offense. And we got 2 good corners, Leslie Frazier. He was on that defense, right, playing corner. Now he's the defense coordinator with the Bills. So now what the Dolphins said, Don Shula said, we're going to spread y'all out. Now we're going to bring Gary Fizzik with the safety. We're going to make him cover. We're going to expose him.
Exactly. Doug Blank can cover nobody, bro. Yeah,
exactly. So you got to have corners, man. And that was a pressure defense. Pressure defense requires that you have people that can cover.
And folks, that you was going to get that from the man who was covered Jerry Rice. And on that note, you know how we do it, guys. Anytime we let you come on this show, we want to make sure that you and the audience know how to find out more about our guest or co-host. So, Mr. Tyrone Poole, the man who's got you in the corner, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Jonathan. Again, thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Real Talk Sports. It's always a pleasure. Thank you, Miss Tree. But if you want to keep up with me, just go to TyronePoole38.com, TyronePoole38.com, and that is a roadmap that will take you everywhere inside my world. So TyronePoole38.com.
Tyrone, we appreciate you, sir.
Work that thing. There you go, Chad. WTP 100. Work that thing. Whatever your thing is, you got to work that thing 100.
Work that thing. Tyrone Poole, we appreciate you. There it is.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Tree.
Mwah. Bye, Tyrone.
All right. Not to you, Jonathan. Can't do that to you, man. I give you this right here, Jonathan.
Give me one of these. A thumbs up. There we go.
Thumbs up. There we go, man.
All right. Tyrone, all right. God bless. All right, Tree Dolman, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Missed you all. You can find me on social media at Purple Diva 13, as well as Ms. America International 2022. And stay tuned, because next week I have a huge announcement to make. Tune in to find out what it is.
There it is, boys. The Queen has spoken. All right, guys. I'm just the minister. So I'll tell you guys, please, if you do not Know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior. Please, ma'am, please, sir, get to know him today. Nobody loves you like Jesus. He's the one that came here, died for you. We just celebrated Resurrection Sunday. That's important. That means if you repent of your sins, believe that he died and rose from the dead, two great things happen. Number one, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number two, you become an adopted child of God with all the rights therein. You now go to God like a parent, heavenly parent. Ask him for what you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. And when you die, you go to that happy place called heaven where there's none of the following: no pain, no pandemic, no bad people. You never get old like I'm getting now. You never get tired. You never get diseased. You never cry. All that stuff is gone. And now that's right, you get a chance to see God, see Jesus, and all the people of love face to face. And you avoid that nasty place called hell. All the things I just mentioned won't be in hell. It's dark, it's dreary, it's painful. You are now locked down with the devil, all the demonic forces, all the most evil people ever walk the earth. And most of all, you cut off from God, from Jesus Christ, all the people of love forever and a day. I don't know about you, but like option number one instead of option number two. All right, guys, until the next time we get back together again, you know how we simply say it. God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, whichever may apply. And thank you again for now 850 subscribers on YouTube. Take care and God bless.